Welcome everybody to Beyond Movies. I'm Callum, and this is a review of episode 4 of Daredevil Born Again. And I'll just start right now and get it right out there right away so you know where my stance is with this. I think this show just keeps getting better and better. I think episode 4 might be the best episode of the season so far. We're going to get into it, why I think that. And you might be thinking, really? But this episode had it all for me. What I look for in Daredevil anyway. Maybe not all of it, but some of the key things in there that I really enjoy about the show. So, getting into it, obviously, right away, Matt is in the morgue, going over Hector's body from last week, obviously. If you don't know last week's episode, why are you watching this? Oh, I should say spoilers as well. But it's on Disney Plus. If you want to go watch it, go watch it. I never feel bad about doing spoilers for a Disney Plus show. But yeah, Matt's in the morgue. He's checking over Hector's body, all his possessions and stuff like that. And then Hector's niece comes in, who people who read the comics know what part she's going to be playing, maybe in the future. So she has a conversation with Matt, which is, another one of these conversations which Matt's been having over the past 3 episodes of people all around him who are telling him nobody's doing anything. These she says these cops killed him and got away with it, which is what we're all thinking, that the cops killed Hector, White Tiger. It's these cops that did it. Nobody's doing anything. Again, showing Matt, come on, you need to be the devil again. Just all these people getting at him, but not knowing he's Daredevil as well. It's just all this stuff he's taking in, and it's like, oh. But he still wants to believe that he can help in other ways. Like he says to, I've got a name, but Hector's niece, he says, I hope somebody finds your uncle's killer. So, yeah, it's kind of like, it's not the path he's willing to go down. He kind of toys with it a bit in the middle of the episode when he confronts that cop again, who he beat the absolute shit out of in episode 2 right at the end. But going by his heartbeat, I think that cop was telling the truth. He didn't have anything to do with killing Hector. So maybe there's different degrees of it. Maybe there's just like the cops were like, oh, we've got Punisher tattoos because we like the Punisher. And then there's probably full on, anti-vigilante task force Punisher cops out there, which I think we're going to see later on in the season, definitely. But yeah, so it opens strong, and then we go on to Matt's kind of like day as a lawyer. You see this guy robbing some, I think it's cereal, robs 5 boxes of cereal, and they kind of start off as a joke, and you think, okay, it's just another day in the life of Matt as a lawyer, I suppose. And he's having that conversation with him. He's like, no, I need probation. And then he's like, no, you're not going to get a probation because you've got a rap sheet that's this long. So he's like, Matt goes to the court, gets it all sorted. And very charming as well, Matt Murdock, actually. The way he's speaking to the prosecutor. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he couldn't get a probation. I think if he tried a little bit harder, he probably could have done. But he managed to get the guy 10 days inside. So he goes to him, and then this kind of jokey scene turns into something really serious. And it's like, no, they took me in the first time for 30 days. Then I missed this appointment. Then I stopped getting my benefits, and now I need to go and steal food and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, I stole it because I wanted a dessert. I wanted something that wasn't out of a dumpster. I wanted something that tasted nice. And he just keeps saying to Matt, "You don't get it." So it's another one of these things where, Matt has, I wouldn't say he's had a privileged life, but he's worked hard for what he's got. And he's in a position now where maybe he doesn't see that side of New York. And when he was Daredevil, he got to see more. So then again, another call to arms for Matt. The guy says something really, which got me thinking as well. He was like, they would rather spend 5 times the money to lock me up for 10 days than just feed me. Which, I don't want to get too deep into stuff like this, but it's got me thinking as well. It's like, oh yeah, fuck, that's kind of fucked up with this. But yeah, anyway, we go to Fisk, marriage counselling. I think all the marriage counselling scenes we've had have been really good. We get to see this different side of Fisk, we get to see this different side of Vanessa, and I think they really pushed each other in this week's session of counselling. And yeah, Matt's girlfriend's obviously the marriage counsellor, brings up the affair with Adam. We can kind of tell there's something going on there, which we find out at the end of the episode, what's been going on with Adam. So yeah, that were pretty cool. So Fisk can changed a bit, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later with the Fisk stuff, because he's going on like like mayors do. They've got to go around to all these different places, different meetings all day, every day. And one of his plans gets leaked for some recycling thing. And he's going from meeting to meeting, and he's had to listen to different renditions of We Built This City, which I thought were fucking hilarious when I was watching it at 4 o'clock this morning for the first time. I've watched it for a second time when I've got in from work today. But yeah, just listening to all these different renditions of We Built This City, and I was like, Fisk is not built for this world. He's about to break, and I thought we were going to yell at the kids the first time. But anyway, cuts back to his office after that. He's shouting at all his staff about who leaked it and stuff. It's like, who leaked it? I'll find out. And then, I forget his name, the character's name, but Michael Gandolfini's character steps forward and he's like, who are me? I'm sorry. Really expresses his loyalty to Fisk, and I think Fisk sees not a full Wesley in him, because Wesley was that guy who knew what Fisk wanted before Fisk knew he wanted it, and everything like that. But I feel like he sees someone who he could mould to be a Wesley, because he says in time you'll become a better man or a more fuller man or something along them lines. So yeah, and this guy just rips his heart out, man. He's like, look, no, fire me. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I had a bit too much to drink. I let it slip. Now, I don't know what that's going to mean for BB Urich, because obviously she's using him for information. But yeah, is there going to be repercussions there on her end? Is she not going to be able to get interviews anymore with Fisk? Is Fisk going to do what he did to her uncle? So yeah, look, you just don't know. But anyway, after Matt has his conversation with the probation guy, the person who we got the 10 days for, like I said, it's call to arms, and he goes to the alley where Hector was murdered, and he just has a little listen, and he manages to find the bullet casing. And from Matt's point of view, he's not been able to see these Punisher logos because they're on like the skin of the well, yeah, that's how tattoos work. Well done, big time. That's how tattoos work. They go on your skin. But no, he's not been able to hear the tattoos, I suppose. But he can feel the tattoo on the bullet casing, and right away he's like, ooh. So apparently all this time he's known where Frank is. And yeah, I suppose it's been a long time between the end of Punisher and Daredevil, and I suppose they've probably both been keeping tabs on each other. Some people might be shocked to think Frank knows who Daredevil is. He knows who Matt is. When did he find that out? There's a very subtle scene in Daredevil season 2 in the court case where Frank's on the podium and Frank looks at him and says, "Frank, may I call you Frank?" And Frank just looks at him and he's like, "Yeah, alright." And it's like, you can tell in that scene he figured out who Matt Murdock is also the devil of Hell's Kitchen. But yeah, we get into this great conversation again, which is what Daredevil is built on. The great conversations, the great character moments. Charlie Cox acting in this scene is by far, I think it's the best I've ever seen him. Maybe not the best John's been, but I think John was there to service Charlie this time round, because Charlie serviced John perfectly in the rooftop scene and the graveyard scene in the original Netflix show, so maybe it was his time to give a bit to Charlie. But Charlie were fantastic in this, and look, they start bringing up Bullseye, and he's like, what does Bullseye get to do? He gets to go to the mess hall and stuff like that, and then Matt breaks out, he's like, he got life, and he's like, what did Foggy get? And I was like, oh god, Foggy didn't get life, he got 0 life left. So yeah, they have a great conversation. What he says to him as well, it's like, do you hear him? He's like, that's what fuels me. He's like, I still hear my little boy Red. And he's like, every time I hear him, he's saying, Daddy, get him. And it's like, get him. And he's like, that's what fuels me. And that's why I do what I do. Get him, kill them all. And it's like, god damn, Frank, that is dark. But Punisher's a dark character. John Bernthal has been saying lately, quite openly, that he wasn't even going to return until the creative overhaul. So looks like they've really serviced Frank as a character here. Obviously, we know he's going to return later in the season. It's just nice to have a first official MCU scene with Frank Castle. I know the other stuff's been canonised, but this is our first scene that we've got with him in the MCU while we know it's the MCU as well. So that's great. It's kind of like his Charlie Cox moment in Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, that was his first scene properly in the MCU. So yeah, that were great. John killed it, but Charlie really, really killed it. And then we get a nice scene to just wrap up the show. It's, this show's been very 50-50. Fisk and Matt Murdock. And you see them both just going back to their old ways. I think Fisk probably never really changed, which has been my suspicion. It's probably just been a front while he's been the mayor. It seems he goes down to his wine cellar, Fisk. He's got, the person who had an affair with his wife locked up. And he's crying, going, Fisk, let me out. And he goes, Mayor Fisk. And this guy's banging on the fucking bars and rattling around. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to end good for Adam. And like I said, to parallel this, the scenes running side by side of it was Matt getting them billy clubs out and just getting a feel for it again on the roof. No action again in this episode, but I didn't care, because the character moments were just carrying me through the story, and I was like, I'm interested in what's happening now. It's not like some things you're watching, it's like, right, let's get to the next action scene. I'm telling you, all the action is going to be all the more worth it by the time we get to these action scenes. And look, next week we've got a 2-episoder. I would assume he is suiting up next week at some point. Maybe at the end of episode 5, going into episode 6. Maybe. But I feel like we've seen a lot from the trailer now that they put out. So I think we've got a lot of surprises coming up for the next couple of episodes. I know there's set leaks and stuff like that, so we know there's going to be some stuff coming anyway. But yeah, no. Look, 2 episodes next week. I'm excited. Quick insert. Muse. I forgot about Muse. Because he's only really in the beginning for a little bit. And he's the thing that ends the episode as well. But Uh, if I've got to say out about Muse, I'd say he looks spooky as shit and he's sucking blood out of people. And yeah, it's got people hanging off meat hooks and stuff like that. So we could really go anywhere with next week's episode. But yeah, I'm excited. So I just had to add this little 30-second bit in about Muse because people are like, what about Muse? No, nobody's going to say that because nobody's watching. But anyway, Muse were great from what we've seen so far. If I had to rate this episode, I think it's the best of the season, so I'd give it a 9.7. I think I'd give the first one a 9.5, a 9, and I think I'd give last week's a 9.5 as well. But I've got to give this one a 9.7. And yeah, a large majority of that is because of the conversation between Punisher and Daredevil. Well, in this case, just Frank and Matt just being... Because them two on together, they're the most honest and they are their true selves. But they oppose each other as well. It's great. So anyway, guys, what did you think of Daredevil Born Again? Episode 4. We're already on episode 4. We're getting a 2-parter next week. And then we're going to be over halfway through the season. And then we've got to wait another year. But hey, there's some stuff coming out in between that. To keep us from not pulling our hair out. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And yeah, let me know what you thought about Daredevil Born Again episode 4. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you want to see him suit up soon? I know that might irritate some people that he's not suited up yet. But look, I'm loving it at the moment. So yeah, let us know what you thought and thanks for watching.